Well, Janella, first of all, I'm working from home, but I am able to follow Queen's Park very closely. Reporters are allowed to ask the Premier questions on the news conferences through their phones. So a lot of big changes being announced here at Queen's Park today. First and foremost, the Premier warning parents schools will not reopen on April 6th. It really is no surprise. It's inevitable. But he said we are in a state of emergency and that it is simply not realistic. And secondly, the Premier is trying to flatten the curve, and he is going to shut all non-essential businesses down as of midnight tomorrow for 2 weeks.
Today, I'm ordering the mandatory closure of all non-essential workplaces in the province of Ontario. This order will be effective Tuesday, March 24th at 11:59 p.m. for 14 days. The next 36 hours will give non-essential businesses the chance to adapt and prepare.
Doug Ford will release the list of what is considered essential versus non-essential tomorrow. But grocery stores and pharmacies will most certainly stay open, as well as some manufacturers and those who keep the supply chain going. And a senior government official has also confirmed to City News that the LCBO will also be staying open. And the Premier had some very strong words for people to self-isolate if you're coming home from abroad. And he said many are getting off the planes and going to get groceries. And he's very stern that people must self-isolate. Thousands of snowbirds are expected back in the coming days, and there is a real concern that this is a critical time to maintain flattening the curve. Now, as Janella was saying earlier in the show, there are 78 confirmed new cases since yesterday. They're averaging about 18% increase day over day.
Premier, what I haven't heard yet is any changes to the number of people that can gather in groups. Right now in Ontario, it's 50, which I have to be honest, I'm really surprised that it's still that high. How can you justify it being that high of a number?
Well, that's the advice, again, Cynthia, that we've received from the Chief Medical Officer of Health. But I do have a message. Go out by yourself. Go out with one other person, your loved one, your spouse, family member, but keep it limited. Keep it limited, and practice social distancing. I just can't stress this enough.
City News was sent this letter from Lakeridge Hospital to frontline workers yesterday, telling them to extend the use of personal protective equipment like masks and N95 respirators due to a shortage. When we asked Health Minister Christine Elliott about it, she said staff should not have to do that.
We want everyone to know that we have an adequate supply of personal protective equipment, and we are actively working with the federal government to obtain more, as well as with other organizations within Ontario that might not need that equipment right now.
And some other things to tell you about from that news conference. The Premier said they're reaching out to private labs and universities to see if they can process the tests sooner. However, there is a shortage of a key ingredient called reagent because it's in demand worldwide. The province is also announcing today that it is giving municipalities $200 million to assist cities helping shelters and food banks. And more announcements like this will be coming faster than we can even process them.